Well, quite a different commute for me on the way to Motorhead Garage here today. I'm on an e-bike and I am loving it. This thing is loaded with technology, just the way we love it here at Motorhead Garage. We've got this and a whole lot more coming up next. Stay tuned.
Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest in exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Motorhead Garage is presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
Hey there, welcome to another edition of Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Let's say you have a classic vehicle like this 1971 Chevy pickup truck. The owner uses this one every day, and of course he enjoys driving it and he wants it to look original, but he's stuck with the original stereo inside. It's an old AM radio, and let's face it, sound was terrible back then. You've got one tiny little speaker on the dash. Now you want Bluetooth, your MP3 player, you want USB, maybe CD changer control, satellite radio, all those capabilities. Well, guess what? You can have all of those things and still keep your classic looks thanks to custom Autosound. Now they have model-specific radios for over 400 different makes and models of cars, and they also have a series of universal radios that are going to look period correct for any vehicle you put them in. One of the radios that looks great, it's the slide bar radio. When it's turned off, it looks just like a classic analog radio, but you slide the bar over and you've got a sophisticated modern stereo. But maybe you don't want all the bells and whistles, but you still want a great looking and great sounding car stereo? Well, enter the Concourse USA 230. Now this model here keeps it simple. It has an aux input for your iPod or your MP3 player. Even if you have satellite radio, you can plug that tuner into the radio, and that's where we're going to put in this C10 in just a few minutes. And believe me when I tell you that custom Autosound, it's not just about looks, it's about high quality stereo equipment. They have great speakers and great stereos and super strict standards. They put every one of their radios through rigorous testing even before they leave the factory. First of all, they're made in some of the same facilities where other major name brand electronics are made, so you know it's a high quality piece to begin with. Then they put it through a bunch of tests. First, a vibration test to make sure your custom Autosound radio will work perfectly while you're bouncing down the road. And every model goes through extreme temperature tests as well, both hot and cold, to make sure it'll stand up to any climate and any weather. Every single radio is given a hands-on test before it's shipped out, just to make sure it all works perfectly. And talk about ease of installation. All the wiring for every custom Autosound radio comes color-coded. It also comes labeled. So in the case of our wiring harnesses here, we've got this white one. It is for speakers, and this gives us an opportunity to expand our system. Extra connections, pinch connectors here for the speakers. We're not going to use those right now. We just have one speaker up here in the dash, which is a new custom Autosound speaker, by the way. It's going to sound great. So we just connect the harness in the top for that one. A little extra wire here that came with the vehicle. There we go. We'll connect that with the top one. And then the bottom harness here, this has a power antenna hookup. There's no power antenna in this vehicle, so we just leave that back behind the dash. This also gives us power and ground for the unit, and we will connect that. And finally, the antenna wire, so we can get good reception on our AM/FM set. And we will plug that in. Now there's a bezel here for this particular unit, for the USA 230. And the bezel actually goes behind the dash in this case. So I need a couple of washers first, actually, to make sure that stays on where it needs to stay. We'll put this bezel, slide it right over. It fits like a glove because tolerances are really tight on these radios. They are made to fit the specific models, and you know the quality is great, as I mentioned. We've got a little heater hose here to negotiate, so we'll get around that. All right, you got to wiggle this around a little bit, and we're going to get it set in there just perfectly. There we go. Now, the dash is a little beat up because this vehicle is a Survivor, which is super cool. Only 46,000 original miles on the truck with the original engine and everything. And the owner uses this as a daily driver, which I think is really neat. Even though you have an old truck, you still want your modern conveniences. You want to listen to your tunes. You want them to sound good. So custom Autosound can take care of you here. And one more nut to go on top of this washer. We'll run that down. We can also grab a socket here that fits those, so we can do a little more than we can with our fingers there. Drive it down a little more and make sure it's snug in the dash. And now we're ready to install our dials. And the cool thing, again, with custom Autosound is no one's going to know that this is a brand new stereo. It's going to look just like the original that came in the vehicle. And your little secret here is you're able to Plug in your iPod, listen to your music, and it's going to sound great. Little preset buttons here. You have presets as well, and those control the functions on a lot of the custom Autosound stereos as well. And just like that, once the knobs are installed, you have what looks like a stock radio in your stock vehicle from 1971. Custom Autosound has 400 makes and models of stereos. They have the one that's going to look great in your vehicle. Check them out at customautosoundmfg.com. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Don't go away.